not showing me that they're going to be the solution. The Massachusetts experiment, like I said, David and I are experiment guys, right? We do evidence-based medicine. We're going to talk about a couple different ones of these. He's laughing because he loves the Maine. He loves the Maine model.
I love the Maine model.
He's all about the Maine model.
I love Maine.
But this,
so Olympia snow.
2006, Massachusetts established a public option. It's exactly what he was talking about. They got the Commonwealth connector. It's exactly what the Congressman was talking about. Same idea. Edward Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, from Massachusetts, naming the plan after Senator Kennedy. It's his plan. He took it from Massachusetts, right? Except this one's on steroids. You know, it's blown up. It's not this little Massachusetts plan. Okay, and state-only costs. We'll just run the costs, though. So the cost of the state during the time when they established this plan in 2006 have gone up by 28%. Okay, and that's just the state cost. That's the money that's coming out of the pocket of that state. If you actually add the cost of the state plus federal spending, it's actually a 42% increase, okay? Skyrocketing cost in Massachusetts that have established this plan. But again, we talked about what is happening in the rest of the United States, 18.3% increase, right? So instead of 18.3% for those of us who didn't take on this public option plan, right, we're looking at a 42% increase. Which plan, do you think that's fixing the healthcare cost curve? And that's exactly what the CBO said. You're not fixing the healthcare cost curve. The scary thing about this, in my mind, is that the state couldn't afford it themselves, right? So the state's costs were going up so much that they had to get money from the federal government. So in 2008, the federal government gave them $360 million to help cover their cost difference. They just gave them over the next 3 years $1.5 billion. What if they release this on the United States? Who's going to be the one that's going to back us up? Who's going to give us money when we start going broke on this type of option, right? Nope. Who? Venezuela? China? Who's going to give us money? Nobody will. And we should, because then we're just borrowing money and we're just killing our next generation of people. So this idea is being shown to be doing exactly opposite. It's running up costs. Public option. So I don't understand, to be honest with you, this is why I asked my congressman this, why are you here so adamantly supporting a public option when we've got a wonderful experiment, I'm an experiment kind of guy, that shows me it's not working, right? I think I told somebody here, it's like a little kid sticking their finger in an electric socket. Eventually, they're going to learn that that hurts and they're going to stop doing it. Our government hasn't figured that out yet. So expenditures, and this is just the cost curves. Yes?
Didn't Tennessee do that?
Yes, we're going to talk about that. Fell apart. I mean, there's a bunch of them, actually. Yeah. So look at the cost curves, all right? Is this a good curve? Is that going down? That's going up, guys. That's not the curves that we need to be looking at. Those are healthcare expenditures per person in Massachusetts. Has their plan, and that's projected to 2020, is that plan driving that cost curve down? No, so we're going to continue to bankrupt ourselves by adopting this public option plan that's already been shown to fail. We're smarter than that, right? This is the United States.
Yeah.
We've got smart people here.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this then? It doesn't make sense to me, and that's, again, why you guys are here and why we're here.
We've got to pass this to honor Senator Kennedy.
Again, just another cost curve. And, but just again, look at the acceleration of growth in the cost curves of Massachusetts compared to the United States. It's not working, guys, so we can't pick a plan that's not working. Prior attempts, because they will love this one. This article, and I'll give, actually, I'm going to read the, we'll look at this and I'll tell you who actually wrote this article. So since 1988, many states, Oregon, Minnesota, Tennessee, Vermont, Maine, he loves Maine, they've enacted these kind of reforms, right? We saw that they tried to do this before, and what's happened? What have we seen when they've tried to increase universal access, universal coverage, increase Medicaid? They all failed. These guys have gone bankrupt, and Dave can talk to you ad nauseum about, about the Maine plan and what Maine did. They don't work. We just heard about Hawaii. Hawaii doesn't work. So why, if these things aren't working, we continue to do that? And this group that actually wrote this paper said there is little reason to think that the current Massachusetts reform or a national plan modeled on these state reforms, not a rocket science, people are looking at this, would have a better long-term success. Do you know who wrote this? This was written by a group of professors and physician professors at Harvard who actually want a universal single-payer system. So they're actually further to the left of this, but they're smart enough to realize, and we can talk about how that doesn't work, but they're smart enough to realize that we're not going to try to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. That just, you can't do that.
Is that the same thing that's occurring with our Emory comments that's coming up because we have doctors now that are stepping forward for the single system from Emory?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there are...
You're going to have the academicians that do this.
But in California, I've got friends that are single-payer advocates in California. There are physicians that want single-payer. There's no doubt about it. And then if you go
But ask them
into-
why. Exactly, that's what you need to ask
Honestly,
them.
it's a personal choice. A lot of reasons why somebody would want it. They have to speak for themselves.
Right.
But they are out there. But you know, let me say this. I would address the vets in the audience. Not everybody that's a veteran or in the military is conservative and a war hawk. I mean, so any group, any constituency that you take is going to be made up of subgroups within it. So we definitely there's some people in medicine that want single payer. I have my feeling about why they would want it, but I don't want to speak for them. It's not fair.
And I'll tell you this, and I've actually had a physician tell me why, and a gentleman I respect quite a bit. Good man, he's somebody that I work with quite regularly. He's for a socialized single-payer system. And he says, you know why? Because I realize, I know, it'll lead to rationing. And we'll talk about rationing. Everybody gets scared about rationing. But he said he believes that people are living too long, that we shouldn't do cancer treatments for $100,000 that give them 3 minutes extra to live. And he is actually at least honest enough with me to say that if we get into a single-payer system, then we're not going to be able to treat those people. And maybe that's not a bad thing. And maybe we won't continue to advance technology because we know when people live longer, it costs more money. Yeah, and that's his opinion, that's his opinion, that's his belief, but at least he tells me that in that socialized system, that's the expected outcome. The expected outcome is either increasing taxes or rationing of care because it's a set pie of money. Right? I tell people it's kind of like a pie, right?
It's pragmatic.
It's pragmatic. Well, he's pragmatic about it, but at least he's honest about it. At least he's not up here going, yeah, we're going to go to a single-payer system, we're going to use this public model option, and everybody's going to get everything they want, and it's going to be flowery and free, and you're going to live forever, and we're going to give you everything you ever need in your life. He'll at least be honest with you and say, hey, I'd just rather have you die a little bit earlier and save us all a little bit of money. That's his belief, right? 25% of our costs are in the last year of life, and that's his belief. Now, I'm not going to argue with him about that, but you have to ask those guys what their belief is that's driving them to come to that. And I'll tell you, I had a physician that was a fundraiser for President Obama, and he's very well known as in his beliefs. And he and I sat down and chatted, and I said, you practice evidence-based medicine, you don't understand this. And I actually basically did my little chit chat like I do here with him. And he said, you know what, Brian, I'm 100% with you. You're right. This should not be a political issue. We need to find ways that evidence-wise we fix the system and use the evidence to drive and fix the system. And so he actually completely agreed with me. And it's a shame, honestly. I wish we had a lot more of the people from the AARP here, maybe that were on the other side of the street, because I think everybody needs to sit down. It's not, it's a very easy thing. Fix the system by what we know works. You can't argue with that. Yeah. So, and he can't argue with that. And he said, Brian, I'm 100% agree with you. So anyway,
I'm looking for this quote. I have an email. I'm sitting here searching for it. I finally found it.
So competition. So we keep on talking about competition as well. Yes, quickly.
I don't want to interfere with your
that's all good.
Your piece here, but do you really think that the federal government, it's all about having a better healthcare system, or is it an issue that I call it the free ice cream issue? That as long as you're going to get something,
right,
and not pay for it, or pay a minimal amount for it,
all right,
then what it allows me to do is have you beholden to me, and
right.
It keeps me in power.
I can't express their ideas or why they're deciding to do what they're deciding to do. I'll leave that up to them to tell you that. But a simple analogy of basically kind of what you're talking about. You're talking about moral hazard law. Mm-hmm. And it's this, I think I was telling somebody about this. Think of the healthcare system like a commodity, like a bicycle shop, right? So if they said, I want to open this bicycle shop up to everybody, free, 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 come in as much as you want, so what's going to happen with that bicycle shop? People are going to come in all the time, and they're going to take the most expensive bicycle, right? And they're going to come back and they're going to go home with it, and they're going to ride that bicycle, break it, care. They don't care because they're going to go back and get more, right? And eventually people are going to keep on going back, and what's going to happen? The bicycle shop's going to run out. It's going to get empty at some point because there's only so many bikes around. That's the moral hazard that comes with this. That's if you keep on saying, come in, I'll give this to you free, people are going to love that bicycle shop owner for a while, but eventually the bikes are going to run out. There's only so much money to go around. And that's the problem that we get into with exactly what you're kind of talking about is setting up a pool set number of cash, opening it up to everybody, and it's going to just run out at some point.
And if I manufacture those bicycles for these people and don't make a profit,
right,
I'm going to stop manufacturing bicycles.
Of course, yep.
Because it completely takes out the free enterprise system across the board.
Simple economics, isn't it? It's not rocket science.
Honestly, it is. It's a simple math.
It's a simple math
problem. It really
problem.
isn't all that complicated to understand the math.
Mr. Peoples.
We all get it. Yeah. We just want our piece of the pie. That's what people are struggling with.